You're at a restaurant table, and without deciding to, you've already picked the seat with your back to the wall. The door is in your sightline. A chair scrapes somewhere behind you, and your whole body goes still for half a second before your mind even catches up to ask why. But psychology tells a completely different story than you're just anxious. There's a system in your body that's been mapping every room you walk into for signs of danger, and it's been running that scan since long before you learned the word for it. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Stephen Porges gave this system a name: Neuroception. It's not perception. You're not consciously deciding to check where the exits are. It's a layer underneath conscious thought, constantly reading a room for safety or threat before your thinking brain even gets a vote. Porges found that this layer doesn't just flag danger or safety. It has a third setting most people never hear about. When a room reads as neither safe nor survivable to fight or flee, the system can quietly downshift you into stillness instead. The same freeze response that makes you go quiet and small in a tense meeting, agreeing with something you don't actually agree with, long after any physical threat has ever been part of the picture. Your nervous system runs this scan thousands of times a day, most of it below the level you'll ever notice. A tone of voice, a sudden movement in your peripheral vision, someone standing slightly too close. Each one gets silently scored safe, threat, or freeze before you've formed a single conscious thought about it. The strange part is that you almost never notice the moments when it decides everything is safe. Those decisions stay invisible because nothing interrupts your day. You only become aware of the system when it sounds the alarm. That's why hypervigilance feels like it happens all the time. In reality, you're only conscious of the moments when your nervous system believes something deserves your attention. And here's the part that changes how you should read your own overreactions. By the time you consciously feel uneasy in a room, your nervous system already made that call seconds ago. You're not imagining the tension. You're just the last one in your own body to find out about it. Conscious awareness is surprisingly late to the conversation. Long before you can explain why something feels off, your breathing has already shifted, your muscles have already tightened, and your attention has already narrowed. Your thoughts aren't creating the feeling. They're arriving afterward, trying to explain a decision your nervous system quietly made first. Which raises the obvious question: why does your system do this so much more than everyone else's around you? Most people's threat detection runs on something called habituation. You hear a sound, you check it, it's nothing, and your brain quietly downgrades that sound so it won't bother flagging it again next time. It's the same reason people who live near train tracks eventually stop consciously hearing the trains. The brain learns the sound predicts nothing and stops spending attention on it. But habituation only works on predictable danger. A system can learn to stop flinching at a train that passes on the same schedule every night. It can't fully do that with a threat that only sometimes arrives: a house where you never knew which version of a parent was coming home, a neighborhood where safety wasn't guaranteed on any fixed timeline. Unpredictable threat is exactly the kind habituation was never built to switch off. So it keeps scanning, not because the danger is still there, because the software never got the update that said it was safe to stop. There's a specific reason this feels so exhausting, and it's not the scanning itself. It's what the scanning costs you that you never get billed for anywhere else. Researchers call it allostatic load, the cumulative wear on your body from staying in a low-grade state of readiness for threats that mostly never arrive. It shows up in measurable ways: elevated baseline cortisol, a resting heart rate that never fully settles, sleep that stays light and easily interrupted even when nothing in the room has changed in hours. Most people never realize that's what they're paying for. They just assume they're naturally bad at relaxing, without noticing their nervous system never actually stopped working. Picture two people leaving the exact same dinner. One walks out simply full and tired in the ordinary way. The other walks out just as full but somehow drained in a different register entirely, not from the meal, but from 3 hours of a body that never once got the signal to stand down. Nothing observable happened at that table. The bill still came out the same. Only one of them paid a second, invisible one. Your system doesn't get to relax between alarms because for a hypervigilant nervous system, there's no real between. There's only baseline readiness and then the occasional spike on top of it. Here's the part that reframes almost everything about this pattern. Your body isn't malfunctioning by staying alert in safe rooms. It's running the only strategy that ever kept you safe in unsafe ones. A nervous system doesn't learn. The world is dangerous in the abstract. It learns it from specific rooms, specific voices, specific moments where being unprepared costs something. And once that lesson is in, the body doesn't file it under, "That was a long time ago." It files it under, "Keep this running, just in case." The strange part isn't that this makes you tired. It's that the very same system doing this to you also, at some point, kept you 1/2 second ahead of something that actually mattered. And because that strategy worked, your nervous system had no reason to abandon it. Biology rarely throws away something that once increased your chances of staying safe. From the body's perspective, giving up vigilance is a much bigger risk than carrying it for years longer than necessary. If any of this has felt uncomfortably familiar, that's exactly why this channel exists, to put names to experiences most people spend years blaming themselves for. Now here's the trait that's different from everything else in this video, because it isn't about danger at all anymore. It's about position. Start paying attention to one small habit. When you enter a room, where do you sit first? Do you instinctively keep a door in sight? Do you somehow know the quickest way out before you've consciously looked for one? This isn't paranoia. It's spatial mapping, a system quietly building an exit plan for a threat it's not even actively expecting, just in case. It runs so automatically that most people with this trait don't even register it as a trait. They just think everyone chooses the seat facing the door. They don't. Most people never think about the door at all. They sit down, order, and never once calculate the fastest way out, because their nervous system never learned that calculating it might matter. That's the quiet difference between the two kinds of people in any room. One of them is just having dinner. The other is having dinner while also, somewhere underneath it, running a job no one asked them to take. So the restaurant, the seat with your back to the wall, the half-second stillness when a chair scrapes behind you. None of that was you being dramatic. That was a system that learned, in some room a long time ago, that noticing early was the only version of safe it ever got to have. Go back to that table. The door is still in your sightline. But now you know that isn't a flaw sitting across from you. It's a body that got very good at a job it was never supposed to have to work this hard at. You were never too alert. You were never overreacting to nothing. You were carrying a nervous system that learned to map every room for exits, and it never got the memo that most of these rooms were safe the whole time. Which trait hit closest to home? Drop a number in the comments.